What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva. I'm back here again for another review of Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay, so I'm doing these in order because I didn't do last week's, but I'm going to do it this week. Your girl been under the weather. I've been working on a movie set, and but really the sickness got me. Y'all got diagnosed with bronchitis and sinusitis, so I have been like down. So I really haven't had time to do my reviews like I want to, and then plus doing pre-production and then actually going into production, working on this project. So it's been a busy week, but I wanted to go ahead and review the episode Days of Our Knives for Real Housewives of Potomac. If this is your first time here on this channel, please hit that subscribe button. And also join the conversation by commenting down below and let me know what you thought about this episode. Days of Our Knives, it took me some time to get through it. Part of it is because it triggered me. And what triggered me was the relationship that Candace has with her mother. It is disturbing, and sadly, I've seen this before, even in my own relationship with my mother, how sometimes, especially black mothers, will diminish what their child is going through because of that mentality. I'm the mother and you're the child, and no matter how grown you get, it's not like you're entitled to have feelings and you're entitled to feel a certain way. So that really did kind of disturb me, and I was like, it's going to take me some time to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and power through this review. So the episode before this, Candace was having the party at her house, or as some of the women like to joke with her, her mother's house. Let me just say this. Some of you wish your mothers could purchase you a home to live in. And it is not uncommon in other cultures for the family to purchase a home for a new bride and her husband or whatever. That's why if you know anything about, if you're financially literate, you do know that you can take money out of your 401k to purchase a home for your children, someone in your immediate family. So y'all really stop. But Ashley's getting a dig. What I find so interesting is that Ashley's getting a dig in on Candace about that. But I was like, if you were on welfare or you were poor and living in squalor, as Katie Ross said here recently. Ooh, Katie, let go and let have on Miss Ashley, honey. So I don't even know what happened with that relationship because I thought her and Ashley got along. But anyways, so Candace has, gotten up from the table. Chris is trying to tell her she needs to calm down and get herself together. Karen has to come out there and tell her, don't allow people to control your emotions in your own home. This is your home and you have a right to be respected. But she gonna leave you there because Chris is there. And just like Chris was telling her, only you can control your emotions. How people treat you and how you respond, those are two different things. And your reaction to Ashley's digs and Giselle stirring the pot, it was childish, uncalled for, inappropriate, out of order. And the things that trigger Candace, people never call her a pampered princess or say anything about her mother providing for her, such as living in her mother's home, because that might get you a butter knife to the forehead, okay? Giselle, I'm very disappointed in Giselle's behavior this season. Now, she's always kind of been a little tad, bone carrier, bone collector. But this season, it's just really brazen, and it's kind of like, Giselle, what are you doing? Like, girl, no, that's not the way, okay? So Giselle kind of was like, it was like bomb after bomb after bomb with Giselle. So she's like, well, since we're all here, let's talk about Michael. Take it away, Robin. And I'm just like, oh my God, that was not supposed to come up in this conversation. Robin had said that she would talk to Ashley on the side about it. And so Candace, I think, kind of started it off, but then Giselle threw Robin under the bus and just drove over Robin. Boop, 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 boop. Okay? Like a speed bump. So this all comes out, the fact that Michael said in front of Chris, Candace, and Robin that he wanted to suck one of the husband's sausages. Now, we all have deduced and used our deductive reasoning skills that it was Juan. And the reason why we suspect it is Juan is because for some reason, Robin won't articulate who it is, but we know it's her Juan. Not to mention the fact that every time we've seen Michael, he's always asking, is Juan coming? So we know that Juan is the one for him, okay? Magic Don Juan, you got your sausages. And Ashley doesn't believe it. I'm just like, Ashley, why don't you just come clean and admit it, that there is something wrong with Michael? Since season 1, he's been grabbing other men's asses and being inappropriate towards other men. It's not like this is anything new. Not to mention that rumor that got out there that his lover, and him were getting it on or whatever, and his penis was out there, although they say that that's not his, but we don't know, and I really don't care to see an 80-year-old man's penis, or however old Michael is. But Ashley really got up in arms about this and just couldn't believe that these women were saying this about her husband. And she really wants to believe, and she keeps trying to tell her, no, that's not what you heard. And the more she tried to convince them, the more I said, you heard it, because they said as soon as you heard it, you took him off to the side. If you're his beard, so be it. If it's a marriage of convenience, so be it. No one really cares. And like Karen kept saying at the table, there's nothing wrong with being gay. But if it's understood in your relationship that y'all supposed to be in a committed relationship and it's supposed to be you and him one-on-one, then y'all need to have a conversation. And the fact that Ashley was trying to say that Robin and Candace were just making this up, I'm just like, alcohol does not necessarily make you make up things, because if that's the case, you've been making up shit about people all the time, or going to dig up their skeletons and then spread it amongst the group. How many times have we seen Ashley do the exact same thing that's being done to her? Karma. What goes around comes back around. Hey, my baby. So Candace tells them to get out. Then Ashley starts bringing up what Monique said about Katie and Amistad. And I'm just like, really? So much for food, fun, and fellowship. But some people just kept eating, like pretty much Katie and Karen kind of were just eating. Then Candace was getting up ready to fight. Chris is straddling her. I was like, yes, Lord. Katie and Ashley eventually exit the house. And then Giselle goes out there and adds more fuel to the fire. She just has to share with them, Candace's mom just recently went upside her head with a purse. I'm like, why was that necessary to share that? Then Giselle convinced Ashley and Katie to come back in. She said, I think that if you come back in, we can fix this. We can make it all better. And I'm just like, no, it's not. She's already told this girl to get out of her home. And then Ashley's trying to count Candace's coins. But I'm like, your husband is financially supporting you. The only reason you have a restaurant is because your husband got you that restaurant. And to me personally, I'm just like, why should you care about how somebody is getting something? Just because your mama chose not to be a provider for you does not mean you should tear down Candace for her mama being a provider for her. Because quite frankly, you work for your husband. Your job is your husband, basically, if you really think about it. We know for a fact Candace has worked, because I think that's how she met Chris, was working at a restaurant. Not to mention she worked in the Obama White House. I mean, she's done some things outside of just Real Housewives of Atlanta. And if you're really honest, both of you are working for Real Housewives of Atlanta. You get paid by Bravo. So you get Bravo checks. What does it matter? And then Karen made the comment that she couldn't believe that Michael said something like that about a man that wasn't even present. She said, that's a hard addiction right there. Then here come the messy crew back in. And then Ashley was like, well, I'm just going to try to make it right. And Karen was like, good. Well, when you make it right, you need to get your ass on. I was like, here go the Grand Dame with lessons on proper etiquette. Because she's talking about, I need answers. Well, once you get them answers, get the hell on. So Ashley is back once again arguing the point that, well, all of us were drunk, so how do you know you really heard that? And my thing is, that is not a convincing enough argument. But then Chris chimes in and says, normally I don't get in women's business, but I heard it too. Don't be ashamed if he gay or bisexual and you cool with it, but to try and diminish folks' experiences and what they heard, Ashley, inappropriate, out of order. Then she starts screaming at the top of her lungs that it didn't happen. And I'm like, do you think your screaming is going to drown out what Robin and Chris and Candace all heard? Nope. And we all know it was one. Then she started trying to really discredit Candace and Robin. She was like, Candace, you were so drunk, you were laying out in the streets, and Robin, you were so drunk, you had to catch an Uber. I'm like, well, I would hope if she was even at tipsy, she would catch an Uber, because none of y'all need to catch another DUI. Karen had one. I guess Monique almost got one. And my question is, why did Michael's first wife leave? Why didn't that work out? Karen encourages Ashley to go home and have a conversation with her husband. But honestly, based upon her reactions, Ashley knows the truth about Michael, and I think that it might just be understood in their marriage. I don't know that to be a fact for certain, but based upon behavior, I could say that potentially she knows Michael is either gay or bisexual, and if he is, so be it. If you happy with it, if you like it and love it, so be it. What goes on inside your home, that's on you, okay? She's like, the lies. I'm like, Ashley, you the only one lying. You're the only one lying. But Ashley did say something that was rather poignant in this conversation, is that she said, the beauty of being me is I am in control of me. Candace went out of control and went out like a Texas cyclone on everybody, well, on Ashley during this whole thing. So then, Candace is like, I need for you to get out. Of course, Ashley made mention of the pocketbook comment. And I was like, don't make her go get a pocketbook, because you already said she act like her mama. Why don't she go get a pocketbook and go upside your head? That would be nice. And then tell me, I'm going to send your mama a thank you note. Like, what the fuck? Monique does have a moment with Katie to try to explain what she really said. And then Katie says that she wears scarves on her head because she doesn't have AC in her home. And she does her own hair. Well, that's evident. And I was like, is having an AC a choice? Not having an AC is a choice? Is it broken? Like, what the hell? But of course, in this next episode, we found out she lives on this probably early 20th century, 19th century farm. And I guess she didn't bother to have it upgraded with an AC unit, but whatever. And then she was telling Ashley on her way out the door, was still going in on Candace and telling her that she needs to grow up and she's going to bop her in the head with her purse. But Karen was like, you saying those things, that's just a dig on Candace about her mother. And hurt people hurt others. And right now Ashley is hurting. And I think that Ashley was fishing for that reaction from Candace anyway, so she just went in for the jugular. Now, mind you, keep in mind everything I'm noting about what Karen said, about Ashley. On the ride out in the Uber, Katie and Ashley are in the vehicle, and Katie asked a question. She was like, well, is Michael gay? And she's like, no, girl, he's not. And then she was like, well, does he just do hookups? And Ashley says, I didn't say that. And I'm like, that's suspicious. Meanwhile, back at the house, Karen is right again about Ashley when she says that Ashley is in pain and in denial. And I think she's really just in pain because now her secrets are out in the streets of Potomac. She's still going in about the fact that everyone was drunk, and she questions whether Robin is really her friend. But I'm like, you were drunk too, and they said that at the time, you took Michael off to the side as soon as he articulated those words out of his Aussie mouth. I will get her sausage. Katie asked what I was thinking too. She was like, so is it like an Australian thing? Kristen damn near burnt up his dinner trying to deal with this. Giselle pretty much is the cause of everything that happened, because Giselle just kept fanning the flame. So overall, this dinner was a disaster, thanks to Giselle. I don't think that, honestly, Candace should have invited Ashley over, but I'm sure the producer said she kind of didn't have a choice. But the next day, we see Ashley saging the house, and her and Giselle have a meetup while she's rehearsing. As you know, she got asked to be part of Virginia Pride to do her struggle vocals in this Struggle Coffee and Love struggle song she wrote with her brother. And she's saging the house. She's saying that Michael is upset. He doesn't think that maybe she should be hanging out with these people. Meanwhile, Monique and Chris are having a couple's day at Pure Barre. God bless y'all for doing that. Have y'all been taking a Pure Barre class? That shit hurts like hell. Girl, my leg got the shaking. And I was like, oh no, this is not for me. This will be the last Living Social I buy. Y'all remember when Living Social and Groupon first came out? We used to go buy all them fitness workouts. It was $10. You get a whole month. You know, it's like I just saved my $10. That's what I'll do. And then Monique tells Chris that, you know, about what Michael had said about his sausage and about a sausage. And she was like, I don't think it was you. I think you're more than a mouthful for him. I was like, ooh, y'all nasty. But Chris did survive that Pure Barre class. He was on struggle, but, you know, he said he had been working on trying to lose weight. You know, linebackers, they, you know, some of them just let themselves go. Like my daddy is 6'8". He used to be a linebacker. How old is my daddy? 62? But he just tall and big. Like, I'm like, Daddy, what you gonna do about that? But, you know, he's actually working on losing weight because, you know, he has a young family and he wants to be around for a long time for them. Better to be proactive than reactive. And then Giselle in this confessional talking about when she called to check on Ashley, she wanted to know if she was okay and if Michael had come up out the closet. Then she lied on Karen and said Karen was saying things about Karen. Karen did not say, I told y'all about Michael. Ashley is unhappy because Michael really doesn't love her. What? Unless they edited out something, that is not what Karen said, even with the creative licensing of Giselle, because we know what she said. She was like, she's hurting and all of this stuff, and she's having a conversation. Is this true? So for the Virginia Pride thing, right, you know, Ashley is so excited. Bravo gets a party bus for 3 people. Robin, Calvin, and Giselle. And on this bus, Giselle calls to let Ashley know that they're coming. And guess who else is coming, Robin? She's like, oh, hi. And I'm like, why are you mad at Robin for just telling you what she heard? And now you think that she's siding with Candace and that they conspired to come up with a story that even Chris said he heard, and he don't even like to get involved with gossip like that. I didn't understand that, and it was a lackluster performance. Hi, babes. Hi. And I'm just like, oh, God. And then Giselle was in the confessional talking about, this is the best sibling composed song to a husband who wants to suck penis. All very strange to me. You think? But Calvin said something about Michael being a straight man on this bus. And I was like, where, Calvin? Where is he straight at? Like, if anything, I think Michael is probably bisexual. That's the bottom line, is what I think is up with him. The crowd was unenthused by her song. Her vocals were horrible. Honestly, we could have all had a V8 and taken a nap. Then Giselle talking about she the Beyonce. She was Beyonce out there. I was like, where, girl, where? Not even on her worst day after having them babies, doing them homecoming rehearsals, was Beyonce's vocals or movements that awful. Robin has to have a conversation with Ashley, and Ashley basically tells her, that's not what you heard. I don't think you were being a friend to me. Then Giselle was trying to get into the conversation. Calvin had to check her and tell her, you said you were going to stay out that conversation. The bottom line with Ashley is that she can dish it, but she can't take it. When the tables turn on her, everybody is wrong. You spent 3 seasons talking about Juan and Robin's business. Juan dating someone else, Robin and him being broke, all of this. And now that the chickens for you have come home to roost, you want to get mad at Robin for speaking your truth. That ain't right. So it's like, you didn't hear, and she kept saying, you didn't hear that. You didn't say that. I never said that. And I'm like, girl, stop lying. The bottom line is this, Ashley. You married to a man that you married. It's a marriage of convenience, I think. But I'm glad you got the baby, so your bag is secured, you know, at least for 18 to 21 years. And Michael probably will be long gone before that, either to prison or you know, dust. But she really was mad at Robin, and I was just laughing because I'm like, as many times as Robin could have gone upside your head for the shit you were doing, you know, and Giselle just sitting there sipping and taking it all in, and you the cause of all of this. Now, what I wanted to get into next is to talk about Miss Dorothy, aka Gertrude, and Candace. Baby, that was a car ride from hell, wasn't it? And like, Candace was like driving, and she was like talking to her mom, and she was like, just giving her the straight eye, because she was like, I'm sick and tired of every time you have an opportunity to pull the rug out from under me, you always bring that up. And that's why, and then her mom was like, well, maybe it's time that I just pull back. And I'm like, maybe you should. Because there are mothers out there that purposely cripple their children and guilt them into staying with them, or crippling them financially by making them dependent on them and not being able to do for themselves. Now, at 32, Candace should be able to break that loose. You're a grown-ass woman, but, your mama been doing everything for you all this time, so you've been able to have fun and sell bundles of hair that I question whether any of us should be buying, but, it is what it is. But I am glad that you and your mother went to therapy. Then she was telling Candace in the car, we're not going to cut down to the white meat, and we're not going to do this and all this stuff. And I'm like, I know you're not trying to lay down ground rules when you bopped your child in the head with the purse in front of everybody at a formal event. Like, who does that? Who raised you? When they get to Dr. Ken's office, Dr. Ken tells her, I know you're a therapist, but please try to remember that you are in therapy. I was like, have you not ever been counseled by a therapist? Because if you're a psychotherapist, then every therapist and every counselor, every mental health professional has to have a therapist. Because it's just too much to be taking on other people's problems and secrets. When Candace started talking, she was telling Dr. Ken about the purse. And she was like, now, we don't have to talk about that. I'm like, don't be embarrassed now, Dorothy. Don't be ashamed now. You were bold enough to do that shit, but now you want to diminish it. Dorothy doesn't want to listen to what Candace has to say about how she feels. She says her mother is always diminishing her. Candace was sitting up there crying, and she was like, oh, that's just something she does. And I'm just like, really? And that really triggered me, because I've had that happen to me where my mom has said some things to me, and I'm just looking at her like, you don't know how I feel. This is my experience. And if I want to tell you this is how I feel, this is how I feel. But them old school black mamas, that's just how they are. They just don't think that they kids, should have feelings like that. There were some things that I remember one time I said to my mom, I said, because they were saying that somebody was going to grow up and probably never come back home. And I was like, there definitely could have been a time when I thought about not ever coming back home. And she was like, well, you turned out just fine. And I'm like, no, I didn't. That's why I'm seeing a therapist now. So, I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, you think that you did everything you could, but you didn't. So I was kind of triggered by that, because, like, my mama do that shit to me. I'm just like, dude, like, mom's like, this is how I feel. Then she started saying, this is another thing. My friend said you're just ungrateful and selfish, and I should cut you off. And I'm thinking to myself, now, Dorothy, how do they know that? How do they know that she's horrible and this and that? And how is it that these friends of yours haven't told you that maybe this is a monster of your own making? Or maybe it's just all in your head how you treat Candace. She's a grown-ass woman. If you want to cut her off, cut her off. I get it. But what are you compensating for? So you can say that you did it for her? Honestly, when I see Dorothy, I just see a grown-ass child. Like, did your mama not hug you enough or love you enough growing up? Are you incapable of loving your own child? Do you look at her and see that, maybe she has more potential than you? I mean, I don't get it. It just really was sad, and I felt bad for Candace. I know a lot of people are like, those are just crocodile tears. But I'm like, y'all don't understand what it's like to be with a physically present parent and they be emotionally absent, or they'll say things to you, like Candace was saying how her mama was diagnosing her as bipolar and putting all that negative stuff on her. And I was just like, what kind of moms are these that we have sometimes? We have to deal with this shit. And that's why I tell people, if you got toxic relationships like that, honey, you might as well take a break from them. Sometimes 6 months to a year could do you some good. Separate yourself from negative friend or foe or mom or dad. I don't give a fuck who it is. I will cut your ass off, because I ain't got time for negativity. And Candace, if I were you, I would go ahead and cut your mama off. I know you love your mama. Maybe you love her for the goodies that she gives you. But for your own sanity, you need to get away from Miss Dorothy. Ain't no way in hell I would sit up there and let my mama bop me in the head and I continue to talk to her after that. No way. Hell no. But I'm going to pray for y'all and y'all's relationship. I saw that y'all were down there in Vegas together shopping at Nene's Boutique Swagalicious. And, maybe y'all have worked out y'all's issues in counseling. But quite frankly, I just think right now what has happened is that Dorothy purposely created a bubble for you to be dependent upon her. Excuse me. And I know that there are parents out there that do that. Either they purposely cripple their children by taking from their children, or pouring so much into their children financially until the children don't have a means to support themselves. Either way, it's crippled. But that's all I've got for this episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. This was Days Right Now. Comment down below. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know what you thought about this. Particularly, let's talk about dealing with physically present but emotionally absent parents. That's a good topic to talk about. But again, I've been Miss Sophia the Diva, trying to get these reviews out to you guys. Long time coming, and I'm so behind, but I'm determined to get these done. But let me know what you thought about this episode. Again, join me on the Diva Disturbed every Tuesday on BFAM 109.6. This week's guest will be comedian Shaq D, host, creator of the All Black Comedy Show here in Atlanta. I'm going to get a little ghetto gospel going. If this is your first time here, please do hit that subscribe button. And y'all stay fabulous, my buttercups. I've been Miss Sophia the Diva.